All right, it's time to talk with our featured guest, Dr. Syed Shahabuddin. Syed, how's it going?
Going well, man. I'm blessed. Blessed to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, what do we got to do to get one of them shirts?
It's a tough ass, man. Custom ink. That's where I got it from.
Oh,
Man,
nice, man. Nice. I
you
like
got a
that.
bunch of writing materials, man. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
Yeah. Studio
Bring that
88 made that for you, right?
Studio 88 did the logo for me, yeah. So I can't take any credit. I chose it, so I guess that takes some work, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
a big decision. Yeah. No, that's true. But also,
yeah.
Syed, can you tell us a little bit about your past, your present? How did you get to where you are today?
Sure, man. I'd love to. So I grew up in Chicagoland area, about 40 minutes west of city of Chicago. In the suburbs, one of the only brown kids in my entire class. Always had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, always had something to prove, Grew up, I wanted to be a psychiatrist. Weird thing for a kid to want to be, but my uncle was a psychiatrist and I just saw the kind of respect that people gave him. He had his own business and I knew that he talked to, his business was dealing with people and talking to people. And I loved that. And that's really kind of what I wanted. Started learn a little bit more about that and decided, nah, actually, that's not what I want to do. The field isn't what I thought it was. You're kind of just pushing pills more than anything. But I can say that. My sister's like psychiatrist, half my family. At the same time that I was like, like high school out in braces. My orthodontist, I don't know what kind of language I can use on this, but he wasn't he was nice, but he was kind of like full of himself. So I would go in and I'm a 16-year-old kid. And this guy was just your typical, like Indian guy who always wishes that he wasn't Indian. He wishes he was white, one of those guys. So I have vivid memories of going in there and him just bragging about his life and where he is and how he got there. You see that girl up front, that white girl, that's my wife. And I'm like, okay. He pulled out his appointment book. Look at all these patients. They all pay me $200 a month. And I'm like, okay. He's like, see that car up there? That's mine. Anyways, full of himself, right? And I was like, man, this guy, I don't want to be this guy. But when he would talk to me about why my mouth was the way that it was, I had some crazy issues. I looked like a vampire, canine teeth coming in weird ways. He would talk to me about why my mouth did that, how my teeth got to where they were. And I just thought I thought that was so cool. And I was fascinated. So I was like, I want to do this, but I just don't want to be this guy. So that started my fascination with dentistry, man. Fast forward through college, I thought about nothing else. I didn't have any backup plans. If I didn't get to dental school, I was going to be a hand model in California or something. I didn't have anything. I had nothing planned. So yeah, man, went to dental school in Indiana. I feel weird just talking this long by myself, man, by the way, but
You're like, you feel like you're orthodontist guy.
yeah, man. I can't, man. We're going full circle here.
That's crazy that he was like that, though, that he was real quick. Backspace a little bit, though. Psychiatry. When was the pivoting point where you're like, nope, never mind?
Good question. I just started to learn more about it. And it was like late high school when I just like sat with my uncle and asked him like, what's like your life like? What's a day in the life like for you? And it's a lot less. What I realized is that I wanted to be something more of like a counselor or like a psychologist rather than a psychiatrist, because you spend like a couple minutes with the patient. I would hear him on phone calls and the phone call goes like this. This is Dr. whatever, Dr. S. Yeah, what's going on? Okay, that medication's not working for you. Okay, let's try this other medication. I'll call it in for you. That's like mainly your conversation with patients. Sometimes it's like, okay, and they're very like just deadpan. Okay, yeah, you're thinking about hurting yourself. Okay, let me get you started on this other medication. And that's all it is. It's a lot less of like, how are you feeling and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. The connection isn't really there the way that I thought it would be, at least not for adult psych.
Mhm.
That was the pivot when I was just like, it's kind of, it's not what I thought. It's not
Yeah.
what I
So you've always kind
I'm
of
not
had
trying
like,
to shade any psychiatrists out there. If you're a psychiatrist, man, do your thing. I can't do it. I
yeah,
can't.
you've always kind of been, or it sounds like, I don't know if you've always, but like you wanted to help, but more like on the internal, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why
100%.
why did dentistry how did that happen?
I was fascinated by the science of it. My parents were typical Indian parents. We barely went to the dentist. like barely ever. But I just was like, I know I wanted to do something health because I wanted to make people feel better, but I also wanted to have that connection. So like general medicine was kind of in the back of my mind, but then I started looking into dentistry as well. And I don't know, I think there was a website or something that I saw and it's talked about pros and cons of being a dentist and all that jazz. So I was like, oh, let's start looking into this, started looking into it and I was like, this is it. Own your own business, which is a big thing as well. I wanted to do big, huge part of why I wanted to be a dentist. And you build connections with people and you can make them feel better pretty easily. So yeah, man.
Okay, nice, man. So then fast forward and then you decided to open up your practice. How long were you an associate or working for an associateship?
Yeah, good question, man. There's a story there, but we graduated in 2017. I worked for Heartland Dental, big corporate dentistry. They're like almost double the size, I feel like, than they were when I started working with them. Worked for them for 4 years and then moved back to Chicagoland area. When I was working for them I really only had a plan to work with them for like a year. And I'm like, I'm just going to work with them for a year, maybe learn some things, get my speed up, and then I'm going to go and do my own thing. Somewhere I lost track of the vision. The vision was, I want to have my own business. I want to be a leader. I want to have my own practice throughout dental school. This is what I was thinking. And I'm like, everything that I was learning in dental school, additional CE and stuff that I was doing in dental school, additional leadership things I was learning was all to set me up for that. But when you work for a place like Heartland, again, I'm not trying to throw shade, but you drink the Heartland Kool-Aid. Everybody tells you there's no way out of this corporate thing. You got to work with us. And this is the best option. All these people who have practices, they're going to be gone. We're going to buy them all out, all that jazz. And it was just, I was just listening to it and I should have paid no mind to it, so I lost track of the vision when I was working for them.
Okay. So when did you snap back into reality? I guess you can say, and been like, nah, man, like I'm going to do my own thing.
That's a good question, man. You're a good interviewer. Can we just take a second to appreciate that?
Thank you. I'll Venmo you some money later.
Yeah. Cool. This is going to sound corny. I did a happiness exercise. My wife and I did a happiness exercise. This is what the exercise is. And I always advise everyone to do this. Wherever you are in life, whether you started working before or you've already started working or you haven't started working, you haven't even thought of your profession yet. Here's the exercise. Sit down, think very, very deeply about everything that you need in life to be happy. Everything, whether that be money, what kind of money you want to make, what kind of material things do you want? Do you want a Ferrari? Are you okay with a Corolla? What kind of house do you want? What kind of life do you want? Do you want to have free time? You want to go and travel? Do you want to have time with your family? You want to live close to family? All of that jazz, literally everything, and take like a full day and just do that. And then you have a vision. You have a life that you've built out for yourself in the future. You've decided these are the things that are going to make me happy and just never compromise on those things. What happens is you get caught up in the chase. I'm sure that, you can sympathize. I'm sure that a lot of you guys can sympathize. You get caught up in this other person, this friend that I went to dental school with is now, they have 3 practices and I'm still here as an associate or whatever it is. My friend who didn't even go to college is driving a freaking Maserati and I'm out here with my, whatever it is. The chase clouds you here and it's dangerous because it keeps you from, again, you lose track of your vision. What's going to keep me happy? What do I need to be happy? So in that list that I wrote up was living close to my family. I didn't live close to family when I was working with Heartland. Having my own thing, that wasn't the case for me. So it's just a whole list of things,
That's interesting. Besides owning your business and living close to family, what were some of the things that you needed or you need to be happy?
I need to be fulfilled in what I'm doing. And part of that involves just providing like a great patient experience that I can only do if I'm doing my own thing. So that's one thing, is being fulfilled, in my job. I'm not even going to mention the money thing because I'm making much less money right now and probably will be for a year than when I was working with Heartland. Probably for the next 3 years, to be honest with you. But I had a number in mind and it doesn't cost that much to keep me happy personally. I wanted to be stress-free and be able to spend time with my wife, like a lot of time with my wife, and not just like 2 or 3 hours in a day. I needed to be close to my parents. There's a lot on the list, but Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, man. No, it's
I'll
good.
think
It's
of it
good.
now.
No, it's good. It's good. Like right now, does your wife work with you or no?
Yeah,
Okay, so you're close, right? Yeah, like it's good.
yeah.
And then so the other stuff
I
is
can't get away from her. You know,
you don't want to either, man. It's
I don't
nice.
want
Like
to. I don't want
yeah.
to. Yeah.
But it's good. It's good that you're, you know what I mean? You did a happiness test and like realized and pivoted. How easy has this process been? So let me ask you, like, when did you start looking for locations?
I started looking for locations. It would have been around like May, June last year. Officially started like kind of like looking at locations and turning off the idea of buying a practice and then turned to the idea of starting up my own.
Oh, so you were looking for an acquisition first.
I was.
Did you not find one that you were looking for? Or?
Yeah, partly that is part of the thing. For the longest time, so I'm really risk averse. I mean, this is the biggest risk I've ever taken in my life. I really try to make calculated decisions and I play it safe. Like I play it really safe. So my first thought was if I'm going to have, if I'm going to buy, if I'm going to have a practice of my own, I want something that's already established where I already know it's going to be successful. I already know there's a guaranteed income already coming in. There's patients already there. So I started looking into different brokers and talking to them about what kind of practices they had, and nothing was it, you know? And then I started realizing as I talked to like more and more people outside of brokers, the way that the dental market is that for offices, there's a couple of people, especially if you're in a big city like I am, Chicagoland, there's a couple of people who have the brokers have them on speed dial because they're going to offer the best price. And Heartland Dental is one of them, all these corporate places. You get hard to compete with those people if you don't have that kind of capital. You don't have anything to really show for it, you know? So the only other option really was to then hit up dentists who were going to retire or people practices that I liked and then tell them, hey, when you retire, would you be open to me buying this practice? Okay, when are you going to retire? 2-3 years, too outside of my time zone. You know, it was like, it was going to take too long. Had a conversation with a friend of mine, Dr. Farhan Momin. I'm going to shout him out. He was going to start up a practice and I was going to buy a practice. We had that conversation and we flipped. He bought a practice and then I started up my own practice. Because he was just like, here's the pros for having a practice, the start a practice. Like you can set everything up yourself. That sounds really good. That sounds awesome. It's going to take some time, but it's my own thing. And I made every decision and it's a startup and it's something it sounds like it's a lot of fun. And he just realized like, I don't think I want to do that. I think I just want to buy something more established. It was weird. We did this 180 thing, both of us. But
Yeah. So then you found the location. Was it immediately the first location you found, or were you like, no?
Yeah, I worked with a couple of real estate brokers here, dental real estate brokers. Actually, not just dental, but health. Joe Rossi and Associates. I got to give them a shout out. They gave me kind of like a list of all the places that were sort of available. And I went and checked out a bunch and I was like, okay, sure. Yeah, maybe this one, maybe this one. They checked some of the boxes. They weren't checking all of them, but I was like, I have to compromise. And then I just went on a drive one day and I just found this spot here and it's the perfect size width wise that I wanted. And it looked nice, like a relatively new, built like 10 years ago, I think 19 years ago, in the location that I wanted. Before we scouted locations, my wife and I made dental appointments at a bunch of offices like in the area. And I was like, okay, I know what my competition is now.
Wait, hold on. Why'd you do that? What was the point of that?
The point of it was I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to improve. So I picked up little things here and there from some of these places, like little things that I put into the patient experience here, but mostly to see, okay, what is my real competition here? If I open up, is there somebody down the street who's going to do a better job than I am? And if that's the case, I can't have confidence in myself. And if I can't have confidence in myself, how is anybody else? But so that was kind of the reason why I did that.
Did you go?
Yeah.
You went to these locations and got
my wife and I did, yeah.
Or some of the things you picked up?
One of the places that I went to wasn't even in the areas that I was looking at, but they're a huge name in Chicagoland area. I won't say their name, but they're a huge name here. And you've probably heard of them. Everybody probably has. Their design was incredible. It was impeccable. Whoever is designing those offices, freaking kudos to you. And there was a lot of stuff like, they're really like one of these like cool offices, you know? So they had little things that I was like, that's a thing that I'm going to try to incorporate later on, you know? But then there was things about the patient experience that I did not enjoy. And the sad reality is that single location practices are kind of few and far in between that I have found, at least in a big city like Chicagoland. Even that place that I'm talking about has like 7 locations. They're opening their 7th and 8th location. And when that happens, man, the patient experience just falls by the wayside because the owner of the practice, the person who has the most stake in that business is not in the practice. And when that's not the case, then who's overseeing this? Somebody that you just pay, an office manager or somebody. They don't have the same stake in the practice as you do as the practice owner. So yeah, then stuff just falls by the wayside. And then because the patient experience is suffering, now you gotta compromise on cost for things. You gotta compromise on the time you spend with patients. It's all related.
Mhm.
All related. So then you gotta change the vision for your whole practice and be like, I'm just gonna start thinking now 7, 8 locations and just getting my profit that way versus just honing in on that one practice and providing the best experience. That's just kind of what I have seen working with the corporate places working with Heartland that I did for 4 years. And then just kind of looking around and being like, look, there's a practice here, quarter of a mile down the way, literally 2 minutes, you turn here and there's another practice there. There's another one that way, 3 on the street over here. There's like so many practices that are around here. And every single one of them is one of X locations. And the patient experience is not there,
Mhm.
So that was my vision I'm just going to hone in on that. And that's what's going to be our stake. It's going to take us a little time to get there in terms of success, let's call it. But if my patient experience is the way that I have envisioned it and the way that my team has envisioned it, we've come up with it together. People will be happy.
So then when it came to the specific things, like the design, what was it like? You're like, what was it? What was it in the design that you're like, I'm going to take that? And what was it where you're like, dang, their patient experience because of this specific thing sucks?
Design was the way that they engaged like social media was a thing.
Mhm.
I was like, I want to do that because people want that. People would love for their dentist to have that. So this is the way that they engaged with their audience was good. Like there were hashtags, things, there were QR codes everywhere. Why are my teeth bleeding? QR code, it takes you to a video of theirs. It was like that kind of stuff. So that's down the line. That's where I'm going. That's where I would love to have that kind of thing. The list of things that I picked up that were negative is way longer. As simple as when you walk in, are people even noticing you?
Mhm.
Are they taking you for granted as a patient? Do they appreciate you as a patient? Or are they just like, yeah, we're here and it's your privilege to be here and have an appointment with us? It's really the opposite. I mean, our field has changed. It's more customer service oriented. You have to have the mindset because it's true that it's our privilege to treat any of these people. It's our privilege that they let us put our hands in their mouths and for even to have them sit in the chair. We spend the money to get them in the door. So you have to realize that it's a privilege to see patients. And I wasn't treated that way when I was at these places. Like I walk in and there was like, yeah, it looked nice, but there was 2 gals at the front and none of them acknowledged me. I went up and I'm like, hey, and they're like looking up to me, bored and not fulfilled with their jobs. So they're just like, yeah, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, I got an appointment. What do you mean? What do you think I'm doing over here? Selling you watches? Like, what do you think is happening? I'm coming in. I have an appointment. My name looks like it might be Syed Shahabuddin. Just do your little research, little things like that. There was just no clarity on who's going to even see me and who's going to do my cleaning. Like, it was clear that it was the male, and then after I come in, there were like 10 people came in after me. People were waiting. Wow.
So then you mentioned something you're like, I'm going to keep doing. I want to hone in on this, which is the patient experience, right? Until you reach success. What's success look like to you?
Great question. Success for me is we are able to provide care for a lot of people and not compromise on our patient experience. That's success to me. And I pay my bills. And I keep myself happy and my wife happy. And that's really it. That's success to me is being able to provide a patient experience enough that I am happy and my staff is happy and my patients are happy. That's vague. I know. And I'm sorry, but I don't know if I have a number in mind.
What's your break-even number?
There are some things that I spent a lot of money on. There's some things I did not spend a lot of money on, but per month, it's around like $35,000 would be break even.
Okay.
So it's for a 7 operatory location, 2,200 square feet, around there, that's the loan. That's everybody's salary and excluding mine, which, I mean, I saved up some money. I'm not paying myself really. a lot. I gotta pay myself a little bit, but I'm not paying myself a lot.
Yeah.
I'm paying myself. My wife and I are in the same salary.
Okay, got you. When it comes to what you spent a lot on and a little on, what was that?
I don't really say a lot. I spend money on things that when people come into the office, it's the things that they talk about. I got a massage chair. It's not a lot. It's $1,600. One of my chairs is $7,000. My dental chairs is $7,000. So like, what's $1,600? Anybody who comes in, the UPS guy, anybody who delivers anything, my cleaning people when they come in, patients when they walk in, when we're giving them the tour, I don't even point out the massage chair. They walk by and they walk like this and then they go, what is that? And they do a double take. Like, well, massage suite. What is that about? I'm like, oh, it's for you. If you have to wait a long time, I don't want you to have a bad experience. You can sit in the massage chair. Or even after today, why don't you sit right now? And I give them 15 minutes in the massage chair and they walk out and they're like, where do I sign up? It's small things. Like, dude, I've sat in the massage chair like once, and it's a great one, but it was just an Amazon massage chair. It's nothing special. But one of the things I learned is that if patients expect this, you just got to be just right above that. And they're going to be mind's blown. Whereas people spend like thousands of dollars on 3D printers and all of this stuff, some of it to market to patients. I mean, if you're going to use it, do your thing. I mean, I'm probably going to get one too eventually, but they just like spend all this money on things that for the patient experience that patients never pick up on. Like an ADEC chair. It's not me. If you do it, that's cool. ADEC, no shade. But I just didn't feel like patients ever cared. I've been in offices where there were ADEC chairs and patients never mentioned it once. But my cheap chair has a $500 massage in it. And patients comment on that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like these little balloons that rise and fall behind you, like right here.
Oh, yeah.
But patients love it. They love it, man. So the things I spent a lot of money on were I negotiated tenant improvement. I didn't even negotiate rent. I was like, whatever your rent number is, that's fine. I'm probably paying a lot for this area. It's going to be like rent and my maintenance stuff in like close to $9,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's a lot or not, but I feel like it is.
$9,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Okay. So then these are some of the things I like that. It's good for marketing, the massage chair, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really, really interesting. When it comes to actually, let me rewind a little bit. How much was your build out?
Build out was, I just wrote the check yesterday. The build out, the final one, $35,000.
So it was around $335,000. How was the construction process?
You know what, man? I hear some horror stories out there. I did not have that. Thank God. The guy that I went to, he builds a bunch of offices around here. I know several people who have used him. He was definitely quick, but I had no idea when he was going to do what. Like there was no schedule. So it was kind of like unpredictable, but I'm grateful to be where I am. We broke ground in October and then we were built out mostly February. Like I had equipment and IT people come in. So, like 4 or 5 months. I hear some horror stories where it takes people a year. I think if you're going to go through that process, that's an important question to ask of contractors is how many projects do you have going on right now? How long does it usually take for you to build out an office from where it is right now to the final, thing? So that's a question I asked everybody. He was like, I take 4 months. Just right off the bat. And I was like, oh, okay. And other people were like, it depends, this. So he took 4 months and he did a great job. There were small things that I wish I had more input in. This definitely wasn't a thing where we sat down and came up with the vision for the practice. He's like, yeah, okay. We got a layout together. He just started doing it. And I was like, wait. Well, what about this? He's like, okay, I guess we can do that if you want to do that. And I'm like, well, you already did the whole other thing. Let's just go that route.
Yeah. What were some things that you wish you had more input on?
Man, design stuff. It's all just finishes mostly. Mostly finishes. The floor plan I had input on. That is something we sat together and we're like, this is where I want these ops and all that jazz. I want them this big. But design stuff, like, we have a sink in the hallway and he just put up this blue tile and this ugly gold little border. And I was like, dude, this looks like my mom designed it. But I mean, yeah, it would have been nicer if I could have found a better thing. To be fair, though, now that everything's built, it actually looks pretty nice. So he knows what he's doing. I don't. But,
No,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Yeah,
just small.
makes sense. Right now, how many employees do you have?
4, including myself,
When did you open?
this week. Technically.
Wow. Okay.
Technically this week. So we had a soft opening. We've been technically seeing patients for like 2 weeks, but it's just been friends and family. We started seeing our outside patients this week. Technically Thursday, actually, but last Thursday.
Okay.
It was
So
an
let
accident, but yeah.
me ask you, what are you open? Did you feel like at the end of the day, once your first opening day or once this weekend, would you like, we were prepped, we were prepared, or were you like, I forgot this, I forgot that, or I should have thought about this, or we should have done this?
Yeah. No, I mean, we're prepared.
Okay.
We're good. We're not crazy busy. So there are things that I wish I had done earlier, which is where a schedule would have, I think, helped. A schedule for my contractor. But I just wish I started marketing efforts earlier. I wish I started ground marketing earlier. I wish I did all these things earlier. But it is what it is. So like, that first day we saw 3 patients. The appointments, I do something called a tour appointment that I got from Spear Education. Basically, it's like a 90-minute appointment, and I take them on a tour of their mouth. I take photos with my DSLR camera. We take an intraoral scan. We do a bunch of stuff. So that's like a 90-minute appointment. And we had 3 of those first day. And then the next day it was like, a couple. It's just been a couple every day. It's not like I'm taxed.
No,
I
get you.
We have the time, I think, to also just sort of, it's not like we're slammed and we're like burnt out. I'm still going home at 6 every day. We close at 6, so we'll go home at like 6:15 every day. But it's because I put in a lot of prep work. We started training. Like I hired in January, and for the first week, we were just at home, just learning stuff for the software we use, CareStack.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just learning CareStack for a full week. And then we spent a good month training outside of the office on our vision. We spent 2 days just getting to know each other, learning the personality types and all that stuff. We went to an escape room together, but basically just coming up with the vision for the practice together. I needed everybody to buy into the vision of the practice, to buy into the experience, to buy into what kind of things we're going to be doing for people. And they really did. And I'm so grateful I did that, because now anything that's going up on our social media is them. Any new ideas that we have marketing wise, it's them. It's not me. I'm not great at that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So they really bought in and made it theirs. It's been awesome to see. I'm proud of them.
Nice, man. That's good. What are you guys doing for marketing and advertising then?
Good question. So Studio 88, we mentioned them. So they built out my website. I have Simo Share doing my online marketing, SEO and ads and stuff like that. We just started like maybe a month ago with that stuff. Ask me in a couple of months how it's going. And then we've got MVP Mailhouse. We're using them for print marketing and your ground marketing course.
Have you started ground marketing or no?
Yeah. So we did, but so many people were asking, are you guys open yet? And we're like, we have to say like, no, we're not yet, but in a month, check us out. They're like, oh, okay. And then you can see them, just the interest just weighing down. And part of that is to us. We probably could have done better things during our scripts. But now, like next week, we're going to hit it very hard. We're going to hit ground marketing very hard. Every day, we have a couple hours planned, and we're just going to be out in the community. We're doing a couple of things here and there. Like next week, we have a middle school. We're going to a career fair. So we're going to have a spin wheel. I think it's going to be cool. We've done a couple of daycares and sent home some stuff with the kids, being like, hey, we're 311 Dental, to their parents. So we've done a couple of things here and there. We're going to be at farmers markets and all that stuff. So
yeah,
we had meetings where we decided we're going to hit up this event. We're going to be at this event. We're going to be at this event. That's what we want to be. We want to be that office that is very active in the community, and that you're a little annoyed with because of how much they're in your face.
Yeah.
We're not going to do a billboard or anything, but I want to be out there,
Yeah. No, that's good. So hold up real quick. Rewind. You didn't get their information when they're like, are you open yet?
We did. And then some of those people, when we called back, we got some people scheduled. It's not like, half the people that we had scheduled were from those lists. But a lot of them are like, oh no, I need to find somebody like right now. And I was like, come on, you can't just wait. You can't wait like a month. You can't wait, 2 months actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Some of them are like, yeah, you know what? Call me back at this time. Call me back in a couple months where you guys are. So we have called those people back. We're going to hit up those businesses again. It's not a big deal. We're going to get it again,
Yeah.
Now that everything is built out, now that this place is like, it looks so nice. I'm trying to be aggressive with getting people into the office and meeting us because we're 100% on conversion there. Anybody who comes in pretty much and does meet us, it's good. So we're trying to be aggressive. So at first I was like, I don't know if I should offer free whitening. Sounds like it's going to cost a lot per patient. But now I'm like, yeah, whatever. I mean, whatever gets people in, I'm confident that they'll stay.
Yeah. Okay, man. Yeah. I mean, remember, like, as long as you're following up and calling them, right, and following up, or you can text too. I feel like people reply faster with text now, but however you want to do it, like, keep it up, man. You know what I mean? When it comes to these leads, because they were interested in you. They're like, give me my information. They already did that first transaction.
Right. Yeah.
So, do you have? Are you doing that, or is it somebody in your team doing that? Or
it was me and my team. My wife would be answering calls. She wouldn't be with me. She's also not like a crazy people person. Like my front desk assistant and my dental assistant, they don't think they are, but they are. Yeah. So I take them with me when we go. Sometimes I just send them. They have different conversations that they can have with people when I'm not even there. Sometimes I just send them out.
Okay, man, that's good. So then, Syed, throughout this process, I guess from the moment you decided, I'm going to do my own practice, right? Maybe you were still in Heartland, but you decided it, right? So today, what's been some of your biggest struggles or fails or pitfalls?
From the moment that I decided, just believing in myself. And like I said, I'm risk averse. I don't take big risks. So overcoming that and being like, if you have a set vision and if you believe in yourself, you believe in the experience that you provide, what's going to stop you? Sure, it'll take a little time, but you'll be good. That's just having confidence. That's kind of the biggest thing. I mean, I'm confident in my clinical ability and I'm confident when I talk to people and case acceptance wise, that kind of stuff. I'm confident there. But, as far as like the business goes and then going out into the community and getting people and having a brand of your own to be proud of and to be confident in is kind of a different thing. So it didn't take me long though, to be honest with you. It took just some time just to think with myself and my wife and just talking about it. And what really sped that up was going to these other offices and being like, okay, you know what? Nah, I think we're fine.
Yeah.
That was my biggest pitfall, I would say. But I mean, it's just small things here and there. Every day there's a new pitfall. There's little things every single time,
Yeah.
Like, we had got these tip out bins for organization and putting those things together was like a freaking pain and a half. It took a whole day. Went back and forth to Menards, got the wrong thing. So stupid little things like that. I'm grateful. It's been nothing big.
Yeah.
Getting the loan was an issue. That was a kind of a big issue. But, I don't know if you want me to talk about that, but.
Yeah, no, we can dive into that a little bit. I just want to, back to the confidence thing.
Yeah.
You still feel like you struggle with that?
I'm going to sound like a douchebag. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
What helped? Because it sounds like maybe you don't struggle with that part of the confidence, but when it comes to like, I don't know, ground marketing or anything else, you're 100% confident or?
Now I am.
Okay, why?
Because I've seen what's out there. I've gotten a couple of patients in and I see what they enjoy and I just see the look on their faces when they walk into an operatory and it says, "Hey, Syed," and there's a customized thing to them based off of a menu that they filled out,
Mm-hmm.
And I just hear the comments from people, things like, I walked in and I thought I was in the wrong place. I didn't know it was a dental office. Mm-hmm. That inspires confidence. People who are like, okay, for instance, like one of my assistants' moms with my first patients here has been a little afraid to go to the dentist for years, came in, met me, saw the place. She needs some extensive treatment and she's excited about the treatment now after having gone through this whole experience here. So that inspires confidence. I mean, it's just little things like that. I think the lack of confidence was, are people going to enjoy it? I spent so much time building up this vision, building up this experience, picking little tiny things, I spent all this damn money on this place. Are people going to enjoy it enough to even stay? Am I going to be able to pay these bills? So seeing how people come in and seeing what's out there, what's around me in terms of like, the other offices that are here, they're all corporate. That inspires confidence. The phone calls that we get, I listen to them. And people being like, I just came from this other office and like, I don't know what they're doing, but the whole thing just went downhill. I was a patient of theirs for years and now I feel like I'm a number. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of being redundant, but all of that inspires confidence for me.
honestly, Syed, I feel like you kind of had it always, or
Yeah.
you've had that hope. And then once you met it here halfway, they were like, yes, they confirmed your hope, right? They confirmed your faith or whatever you want to call it, confidence, right? And then boom,
Right.
confidence. You're like, I thought this
Yeah.
was going to happen. This is happening, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling.
100%, man.
Yeah.
100%. You should be a psychiatrist, dude. No, just check it.
You need medicine and no.
Yeah.
So then one of the last questions I want to ask you is throughout this process, how is it affecting your personal life?
You know what? My wife works with me. It's not. If anything, it's improving our relationship. Honestly. I mean, like I said, we talked about the happiness, my happiness. I don't know what you want to call it that, dude. The exercise, the happiness exercise. She was a big part of it. We went through that together. So it's improved my personal life as far as my wife is go. I don't see friends like at all anymore. I haven't met up with friends for a long time. I used to meet up with them on the weekly, and we used to be fairly social. But in the past 6 months, man, I can count on my hands the number of times I've hung out with people, family. I try to see family on the weekly. I see my parents at least, but I definitely see them a lot less. But I know that that's temporary and that's right now. But my wife was the biggest part of my life. I see her every day. And that's great. I mean, I see her for hours. I see her every single second, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which I advise if you can make that happen and you like the person that you were married to. Because it sucks, man. When I started working and when you first get out of dental school, you know nothing. So I would come home from work and you'd already be burnt out. And then I spent 3 hours on Sphere Online Education, just learning stuff. For like 5 months, I did that. And then, and my wife is she's working as well. But then, we didn't spend much time together. And we were relatively young in our marriage, like 3 years in when that was happening. I spent 5 months doing that. And then even still, I come home after that and it was 3 hours and 2 or 3 hours. I'm burnt out. I'm tired. And it's like, what are we going to talk about now? Let's just watch TV and go to sleep and just repeat, And so I just didn't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
It's not a good way to, you know what I mean? There's no communication.
Yeah. But that's the average. That's your average marriage, right? I mean, think about it nowadays. Nowadays, people are working from home and maybe it's different, but this is before COVID. So, I mean, that's just your average marriage. And it's just, you have the weekend and you have some evenings to each other if you're not burnt out. And then that's when communication fails and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
We're really getting into more marriage counseling here, but.
No, it is good, man. It's good. That's why I asked the question of how it affects your personal life, right? Because it's a good thing, but I guess some people are like, oh man, I spend less time with my family. All this is because of my startup, but there's also a good side to it, right? It doesn't have to be that way where you spend less time with people, right? You can be spending more time with people. So it's really, really good. Awesome, Syed, man. Yeah. If you can you tell our listeners where they can find you if they have any questions or they want to reach out to you or anything like that?
Sure. Well, if you're in Chicagoland, just come check me out, dude. I'm in Bolingbrook, Southwest Chicagoland. Come check out the office. That'd be awesome. I'd love to show people. I take pride in it. You can tell. You can just reach out to me by email, 311dentalfam, like family, @gmail.com. If you have any questions, I'd be so happy to help.
Awesome. Yeah. So guys, that's going to be in the show notes below. And Syed, thank you so much, man, for being with us. Before we sign off, any last piece of advice or favorite quotes you want to share with us?
Any last pieces of advice? Man, I've been talking for a long time. The biggest piece of advice I have is do that happiness exercise if you have not done that. When people give you advice, take it with a grain of salt. Even when I give you advice, take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Learn things on your own and take a little bit from everyone and never just take just one person's word for everything. I've had to do that. Awesome. Syed. Thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure and we'll hear from you soon. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.